Hi, Jing. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for inviting me here, Park.
Hey, thanks for
How are
attending
you
the interview.
doing? All right.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't see each other for a long time. Yeah, I'm quite relaxing these days,
yeah,
doing a lot of private stuff, so which is good, and
that
that's why.
sounds good. It's
Yeah,
it's a
that's
mentally relaxation.
yeah. I always wanted to have somehow like this sort of time, so it's good
Yeah,
that I can organize myself a bit these days.
yeah,
And you,
yeah.
everything good?
I'm doing fine. Home office, pandemic,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I miss the time we sometimes catch up to have some food together, dinner time, and this kind of thing. But hopefully, we can do it again soon.
Yeah, sure. We have
Okay,
to do it
we have to do it.
at some point.
All
Get out of
right.
the house.
But anyway, thank you very much for attending the interview. I asked around people who I know. I think they are experts in what we are doing, and I invited you to talk about actually what you are doing. Could you
We're doing nothing. I'm doing nothing.
could you introduce yourself, Ching?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Ching-Hua Chen. Chen Ching-Hua is my name in Mandarin. I grew up in Taiwan, studied there, and also studied here in Vienna. Now I live and work in Vienna. Yeah, for about 14 years already.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I'm just some amateur, amateur programmer who uses programming as some kind of finding an interesting way out of the daily job.
Hmm. But your daily job is which exactly background, architecture or engineering? What are
Yeah,
you doing?
I studied architecture. Thanks for
Hmm.
asking. I forgot to introduce that point
Yeah.
because I almost forget I'm an architect. uh, yeah, I studied architecture also there in Taiwan and here in Vienna. And during the study, I developed some kind of interest in programming in
Hmm.
architecture,
Hmm.
like for design, and now also working in the office. My main job is to develop a strategy for my office and also for the project to the BIM project to improve the efficiency of progress.
That's
Yeah.
great. I know you have a blog called BIM Tailor Your BIM, right? What is
Yeah.
this about? Could you tell us about of your blog?
Yeah. It's also starting when I was studying in the university, and
Mm,
like I said, um, programming for me it's my hobby at the beginning, and also when I touch the BIM software, it's kind of like I try to find a way like to make my work more efficient.
mm-hmm,
And the blog is about like I'm showing or I'm telling what my experience is
mm-hmm,
to tailor your own program to fit or your own needs for your
mm-hmm,
daily life. Like if you are doing every day like copying one word to another and like copy paste copy paste. But if you are doing the same process like 1,000 times a day, why don't you let your computer do it for you and you just have to drink your coffee?
mm-hmm,
And that's why I'm where the blog is where I'm talking about how to do it yourself, and I like to put it into small snippets.
yeah.
Mostly, I'm using it using F sharp and also Python.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I'm showing it more like because I'm working a lot with Revit, so it's lots of things about Revit. But
mm-hmm,
when I was studying, I use lots of Rhino. So
mm-hmm,
also I show something Rhino, but it's not much because I'm still
mm-hmm,
writing something.
mm-hmm,
Um, yeah, and actually that's all that about that. You just I want to tell people that you don't need to learn like for 10 years programming, but you can just use a little bit of your time to
mm-hmm,
learn the basic of it,
mm-hmm,
and you can just write some snippets that
mm-hmm,
just a short code.
mm-hmm,
You change your a little bit this short code and put it into a kind of like a template, and you run it in your Revit
mm-hmm,
environment, and you
mm-hmm,
just change this snippet and you just do one move automation after another, and you can improve your efficiency a lot when you're at work and spend more time drinking coffee.
So it's like you developing or making some script for automation specifically for Revit, Autodesk Revit products that helps. And your blog is about a lot focusing about this sort of workflow, right?
Yes, I like to inspire people to develop their own strategy, and the workflow is not fixed. You can just combine your programming with lots of other stuff, like Excel, like SQL-Lite, something like that. And it's the flexibility of programming to make your life better.
Better, life better for sure. So I guess my question maybe shouldn't be software, but what is your favorite software? Or if you said F# or Python, you use a lot, and is there a reason why?
Yeah, sure. That this question, lots of time that people ask me, what do you really, which software do you really like? What's your favorite? I can't say there's a favorite, because every software has its good point and bad point, disadvantage and advantage. But I can name four, like you said, Python, F# is the programming language that I use the mostly, and the Rhino and Revit are two softwares that I really like to use. The reason is that's starting with in a timeline. I started to use Rhino and also with Python, and when at my university time, I use it because of the flexibility of the geometry that you can, and also you can draw very precisely with the Rhino, and you have your flexibility of programming with even until the points, lines, surfaces, NURBS, and so on and so forth. And Revit is a very kind of mature BIM software, and this API of Revit had lots of how can I put it in the right words? Shortcuts for us, for our daily users, or our architect's office programmer, because you can making dialogue with Revit through your programming and through this API. The API provides lots of potential and lots of ways for the user, for us to approach Revit, and lots of approaches are not in the Revit interface. That's why I also use it, and then I also really like to use F# for programming. F# is a language. It's like sister language, like from C#, and it's really it's compatible with the .NET framework, and from that point being, you can use like Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, this kind of IDEs, like to write your code, and you have lots of automation or IntelliSense to help you to build your code. But mostly F#, it's called F#. The F stands for function. It's functional first language. However, it's not pure functional. It's like you can integrate it with lots of object-oriented language, and this I like the way you write it, or I write it with the F#. It's the way if you see the code, you read it. It's like you think It's like how you think to manipulate a list of elements. You have your process, and you have the first step. You have to field it, and you have to map it, or something like that. You don't lose your thought when you are reading these lines. And that's why I like to use it, because when I was writing it, it's just like how I would deal with one or many elements in Revit, and which process I will do it. It's a one-to-one. You can see it in the code. So I think it's a nice language that even for those people who just get into programming, they can really understand it fast. So that's the 4 things that I can name for the favorite F#, Python, Rhino, Revit.
Interesting. And you think that F# can be integrated in Revit or Rhino interface? Like, I'm not clear like this point, because it should be, because it's C#, it's spread for C language. So, but I didn't see any. For example, in Rhino or using Grasshopper, you don't have component called F#, something that you can write, right? For example, how do you do that? For example,
actually, if you want to write use F#, you can just build a dynamic linked library, the DLL file, and then load it into Rhino.
The assembly you
and
wrote
I think,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. You can build your own assembly. So what you can do with C#, you can do it with F#.
Okay.
It's that's I said, it's a sister language. And it's very very close. And what you got the resources from C#, you can use it as well as F#. Yeah, it's like also but Python has Iron Python. Iron Python is a bridge to C#. So it's kind of like all centered all around, and there is a center is C#.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and .NET, of course. Yeah.
Thanks for that. I think a lot of people maybe not heard about F#, if you are just like architectural practice. That's why I was asking this, but it's interesting point.
I still recall that we went to the lecture for the Unity lecture, and the teacher showed a diagram, all the languages in the whole world, and the bigger letter of the name, the more user of the language. And I just see F# is C# is huge, and F# is so small.
So small dot. It's a very it's very modern, like it's really new language. Maybe that's why.
You can say that exactly. But there is a community, and actually, if I just have question about it, about how to write it in F#, I just Google it. And it's a lot of resources. And if you use for a while, you can also deduct from a C# code, and you can understand it and write it one-to-one to F#. I mean, you have to translate it.
Yeah, sure. Then I think your perspective on BIM, because you dealing with BIM, building information modeling in our industry, what is your thought, this perspective of your own, our BIM in our industry? Do you think it's future, or is it current, or never gonna happen, or gonna die soon? Or what do you think?
No, I think if I'm talking about BIM, I will put the 3 letters separately. Building information modeling, building information and modeling. Let's talk about building. Building for me is like architects, like the users, who like build or the planning, and plan it. As I mean, plan like draw the plans and so on and so forth. And the next like generation is modeling, because actually when I was studied at the very beginning of my years in the university, it's all about drawing with hand, the planning and building it. And after a while, the 3D modeling comes around, and it's the next generation. And now it's come to information generation, and the letter in the letter I in BIM is the one that I see most current and also most powerful and important between the three. Because maybe from my point of view is I like the programmer point of view, that dealing with information is the next thing around this industry. We had so many cloud around us, the datas. Now we have a database as a 3D model. We are not only draw the geometry, where if we drill geometry, there's information inside it, and that's what I think for the next generation. It's the important thing, that how do you deal with this information from the BIM? This how like how can you manipulate it like in a very efficient way to do this? If you got a whole model and you have to find out how many doors that you have in this building. Of course, for one house building is not much, but if you are doing with like a hospital,
big data,
it's a huge data, and how many doors from those data are white, another are green, or I don't know which one has automatic opening or something like that. This information, how can you grab it as fast as you can? That's the next generation of this. And it's not only about Revit model dealing with it, but also if you extend it to the construction site, and there's lots of extension already with the goggles that you can see like in your building, and you can see through your goggle from a BIM model and to see what's the problem inside. And maybe then you can focus. If someone tell me there is something broken, and oh, there is that, and you can just open this part of the wall to fix it. And this is also the information that you have to
visual information. Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly. It's not only the database that 1, 2, 3, but it's the visual stuff, the visual information to help this industry to go further.
Yeah. I think so. This BIM building information modeling will be always there, I think, in the future also. But it's a matter of how our industry or people in our industry engage with this technology to develop further, I think.
Like VR, AR, XR, and those kind of things.
Exactly. Anything like this.
Yeah, they can help a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Even not just about a building. There is like a tele-doctor, like how you call it, like the doctor. There are companies which is called Teledoc, and they are developing like this kind of remote, how to say, seeing the doctor. You don't have to go to the doctor practice or to see them. If you're sick, if you're not movable, and all those stuff are information, and all the data are there, and they are developing more and more this kind of stuff. Like visualize it.
And you think your colleagues at work or in general in our industry, let's generalize a bit, not specifically for your office. Do you think people recognize this? Say digitalization of our industry, or they still stick generally more on traditional way of thinking, or do they appreciate what this new technology does, or are they blaming more? I don't want to do it, or,
I think people are changing. People are changing. I think it's not only about in the praxis, and also in the university. When I was studying, this was when I was studying, I joined a group where everybody is using 3D modeling, and the group is so small. We were in the whole department there were so many people, and this group is only 10 of them, 10 of us. But now everybody is using 3D modeling,
at least,
and people change the view of 3D modeling. People at the beginning they would say they were just for rendering, for pictures. However, people are changing from also this kind of 3D rendering view of modeling to it. Now it's information modeling, and also in the praxis, you like the office just have to get their feet wet to get into the business, into the industry, and start to use it. And they will find the comfort that it's comfortable to use it, because there's a lot of things that simply put you can automate it, and you can put, and also lots of things are more exact. Like you don't find lots of arrows on the construction site. You can reduce this kind of risk. They can also reduce the cost for the client, or the prolonged time for the construction. So it's and then they see, people will see the changing, and also they're it's helping. It's not like against their will of doing the planning, but help. And also I think it's also the two sides. If we're talking about if the planning team will complain a lot against the BIM team, but I think this it's kind of like you have to understand each side. I'm in my office. I came from the planning team, so I know what they want and what they need. And now I'm dealing only with the BIM side of the project, but I always like to discuss with my colleague what they really need, and I can help. I think it's and then slowly they will understand, oh, you're not just like control our work, but you help how we do it faster. I think it's it's two sides of
that's good.
story.
So with the time, people start to recognize it's actually helpful, not against. Because because at the beginning, when you're implementing these new things for the maybe small or medium scale of office, they're struggling to find people, training the people, set the IT infrastructure, and it's a lot of investment. And in the middle of way, we could just draw line in plan or section drawing, which can already explain our idea, but why we have to do in 3D model. At the beginning, always tough, but I think with the time they'll see the benefit of. And I also think that the employer in the office, they should give enough time to implement at the beginning, because it takes time. It's not you can expect someone to do it in next 2 weeks to already learn all these new things. So it's
that's true. And they have to also understand that you can also only draw the plans and put it, give it to the construction site, and it's built. It's just and it's done. It's there's no next story. However, you can, but if you see, there will be if you do it in 3D model, the difference to the 2D model is if you move one thing, then the plans that you generated from the 3D model will be all corresponding to each other. It's not like if you only draw in 2D and you draw this one, you change this one, and you forget in the section or
it's like a Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin.
So that's people have to see that the benefit of it instead, and try to be open-minded.
I think this all change management, like for even in business direction, supply changes or blockchain management, it's useful. That's why we always trying to use it. And in our industry also, that's one of the solution to track all the changes and mistakes. So at the end, it will definitely give a benefit. I heard from you that university time that you mentioned back then only a few group people using 3D software and so on. What do you think? Do you think this BIM maybe theory or hands-on practice at university is necessary in your opinion, or they should focus, if it's architecture school, should we focus only the architectural theory, history, and studio, or you think it's benefit from the academic level should already a little bit of class to maybe integration class with other engineers together to see how in practice works, I think rarely some of the university offers this sort of course for students in architecture university globally, not only in Europe, but generally speaking, it's a bit missing this point, right? So
yep, I think actually, if I if I can recall that we also learned architects were in the history. Like all doer, like architects can do everything. As one side, the architect is mathematician, another side is physical. And the architect is not only the builder, but also a drawer, like a painter, and like an artist.
Or
like yeah. And nowadays education, it's more like going into a specific field for a certain student. Of course, if nowadays we have so many industries and so many also people, and it's naturally that if you how can I put it right? And that's it. If you want to success, then you have to focus on your stuff. That's the one thing. However, in architecture or in general, I think you have to know a little bit of everything. If even let's talk about architecture. If you're an architecture student, and you learn how to build the building, but you still have to learn structure engineer, and then the building will stand. Otherwise not. You have to know the material, how the material works, and what's the property of it, and then you can make your concrete stand as well. And nowadays it's not only about material or structure engineer, but it's nowadays information era. And you also have to learn a little bit more than what the university told you or teaches you. And I think this is like learning programming. It's a good addition for your study, because with learning programming, you're not only how can I say? I don't want to use improve, but whatever. You're not only improve your architectural knowledge, but also use programming. You can also do something else, like I don't know. If you want to copy a file like 1,000 times, or you can manage your own folders like with your computer. You have more you have more flexibility and freedom with your computer. You can understand your computer more. And there's lots of open source sources and lots of knowledge in the internet. Just Google it. It's everything there. You just have to keep open mind and of course the interdiscipline is great between different architecture or the structural engineer and mathematics, something like that. But all of it, in my point of view, you can maybe combine it with your programming skill, because nowadays you can find everywhere you need.
This will
some codes.
This will come, I think, coding, programming in not only architects, every domain these days, it's necessary. And certainly this is next step, regardless of BIM or whatever, people who are talking about now. It's anyway, the idea was in long time ago in 1960s. already there was idea. So it's just realization is about how we just now communicate with computer efficiently. It's there are so many methods, and we are living in most like in human history, I think, kind of best time of free running ages. Like we can search, as you say, and we can pick up a lot of material for free, most of them. Even if it's not free, you pay, but it has a lot of accessibility for all kind of knowledge and know-how. So I think it's we are living in really best time. And you are right, as a university students, sometimes some of my country back in Korea, they are asking what can we run and what should we run. I said to them, there's everything now. You just need to learn English, maybe.
Exactly.
And it's a
true,
matter.
true.
It's really true.
That's true. I have to improve my English reading. Actually, I'm not fast enough, or I'm not fast at all. But I mean, it's that's true. Yeah, that's the first point.
People build their own house by watching YouTube these days. You know, without any builders. So it's crazy. Like a lot of knowledge you can gain, but that's why I told them, yes, students studying what university shows is important, of course, but at the same time, if you look a bit out of the university and a bit broaden mind, learning English, and it will open them a lot of possibilities, right? But it's English also dangerous for me. My problem is I'm living in German speaking country, but my German is like never go better. But because I have so many other interesting stuff to access free these days, so you just never interested in local language to learn unless I really need it, right? So this is my problem. But I think, yeah, these days it's really nice time. There's so many material we can learn, and it's a matter of interest, motivation, and time, how you spend it.
Yeah.
And I think
also there are sorry. And also there's lots of open sources. I mean, lots of APIs. There's lots of things that you can get connected with. Like you can also I use Google products like Google Sheets or Docs. Write your own script, and it's not F# or Python, but if you got the idea of programming, you will just you will see lots of opportunities to improve lots of your daily life already. Because just one last point of it is, you will see, like, from the time being, at the beginning you use software, and the software is there and you can't do anything else with it. Because you don't know how. There's nothing open for you. But now lots of apps on your phones, and you can write your own JavaScripts to have your own apps to deal with I don't know what to document your stuff automatically. And it's a trend. It will go this way because they are already there.
I think
it's not
so.
coming. It's already there.
And it's already there. Yeah. Application. Yeah. So it's on the other hand, we are living in complex society and world that there are so many things we can do. At the same time, it's difficult to keep. I don't know. I'm still looking, as I said, still looking at those kind of books, architecture book, my next table, and I still like to thinking in some point traditional way, because that's another way to. But certainly programming and computer language to integrate this other background knowledge is important. But it's just afraid that many people is emotional. We are emotional human. So sometimes they stick on one knowledge and they don't want to convert another or try another things. That's, I think, it's a big barrier in our world. But I think the listeners here, they get what you mean, what your point is. So that's appreciated. Lastly, I want to ask you one thing. How would you suggest the professions or students who watching this our podcast, how would you suggest how they should start their programming? Let's say they are all not professional background of computer science, but they want to start with. What would you suggest? Is there some good steps as an architect or to start the programming?
Visit teleobin.com.
That's good. Yeah. That's good thing. Yeah.
That's one way.
One way. Tailor your BIM blog.
BIM.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
one way.
yeah, like being a tailor.
Yeah.
I think what can I started totally differently. I started with processing. It's it's a graphic
JavaScript.
graphic
Yeah.
Java actually.
Yeah. Java,
it has its own kind of like API or languages. And then that's my first step, because I wanted to learn programming, and I wanted to do something which interests me, not like I just type as a find out what's the result of 1 + 1. No, I don't want it. I want to learn something which because also I am a visual person. I like to write something where there's a circle running around. That was my first step. And according to that, I will suggest that
so something visualizing
or something interests you. If you I don't know, if you like data, you like to see the graphs, the charpy or something, try to use Python maybe. Python is very simple, and there's lots of resources, and there's a lots of information in the internet. Just Google it. Google is perfect. Just Google it, and you can find lots of steps to tell you just one step after another. There are still also code pasted there, and you can just copy it. I mean, and the environment for it is very simple to start. You when at the first step, I didn't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing according to the book. But sometimes it was frustrating. However, just don't give up. I think that's the main point here. Just try, get your feet wet, and then you will find out what's really interesting behind that. What's the logic or philosophy behind that. If you find that, if you found it, I will promise you that you will not stop. You will not stop.
You cannot stop. Yeah. You cannot stop.
You will not. Yeah.
All right, Ching,
that's what interests you, and
that's right.
Makes you happy.
Motivation to do something. Yeah.
So
right.
Find out what interests you. That's the first step.
Yeah, that's really good. Important. I think for me also, I'm starting to run like this Unity 3D with programming, so I can visualize what I'm typing. So it has the good physics integrated, so you can simulate something which you can immediately recognize if it's wrong code or not. So I found this also nice. So I'm learning something these days also. What about you? Yeah. Do you have any wish to learn something these days? What's your whatever you like?
I'm interested in machine learning.
Okay.
I try to learn if I had time. I'm trying to see how it works. It's really lots of knowledge that I didn't really understand. It's not easy to understand what's the theory behind it even. I need more time for that, but that's my next step.
Yeah.
AI, machine learning.
AI, machine learning. Okay. Yeah, it's a backbone of that. This new coming AI and machine learning is also, you need to know a lot of theory, right? Like neural network, or what this terminology means, and how to prepare the data, digging the data, leveraging it, and where to store, and how it's synchronized. It's just so much knowledge you have to. But I think it's good. You're really going ahead.
I think for me, it's not about if I'm really going to do it.
Mm.
I'm learning it. It doesn't mean that I have to do that. It just for me, it's like I keep my feet wet into this area, and I know how it theoretically
Works.
running.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah. How it works, and then maybe it will open what I am doing or what I'm thinking now or what I can do. Gives just to collect some inputs from the area that I didn't know yet.
Yeah,
that's I think
exactly.
it's a main point for that. I think I saw some posters in the subway. It's called I think it says you're not being a good person if you stop learning.
Yeah, sure.
Something like that in German.
Really?
I think that's yeah.
You never stop running. Yeah, then you're a good person.
Never stop learning. Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
All right, Ching. I think it was really helpful.
it.
I think we got a lot of information and your suggestion, advices. So appreciate it, and I hope we can
just
meet
some
up.
experiences. It's not much.
Yeah, I hope we can
something deep.
No, but it's we cannot tell this podcast the deep details, but at least you emphasized on what is kind of interest you and what's important, and I think people will definitely, this podcast is more about networking, and people will somehow will contact you maybe, and maybe that you can build up another network, but it's like generally discuss what other people doing in our industry, not just only a drawing board and typing and drafting what we have to do, but there are a lot of different people who trying something, pushing their boundary out of the regular daily office job, So I think it was really good. All right, then hopefully we can meet up soon after somehow when this lockdown or pandemic is over. It's a bit
sure.
Yeah, we postpone long time what we wanted to do as well. Like we may do some workshop together or something, but we
or go to our favorite Chinese restaurant.
which we didn't visit for a while. So I'm looking forward.
Me too.
I miss the time like when we went to some good local restaurant, Chinese restaurant or Thai restaurant where we could really enjoy these things. Is not possible these days, but hopefully we can meet up again.
Sure, we will.
Okay, Ching. Thanks very much again for the interview, and
thank you as well.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you for having me here. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.